Welcome back to the Miraculous Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Joy, and I'm here with my hubby.
Hello.
And we believe in empowering people through storytelling and education. And today we're kind of doing a couples podcast.
Yeah, mix it up a bit.
Yeah. So we have Nicole Franzel and Victor Arroyo III on. You guys know them as Coco Caliente. You probably saw them on Big Brother, The Amazing Race. And we went on their podcast, Coco Caliente, and talked about birth doulas. And Vito gave his take on it too and his experience, and had a really great episode. So make sure you check us out over there. And then they're on Miraculous Mamas today.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. They're actually a really nice couple. I thought that they were us, but a different version of us. Like their story about not how they met, but...
Oh my gosh, it was very similar. Yeah, not how they met,
we're pretty similar.
Their love story was very similar, except for I was Victor and you were Nicole.
Just like who they are kind of as people, or like what they're in. I feel like our relationship is kind of parallel.
We're pretty similar.
Yeah, they were nice. I liked them.
Yeah, very nice.
I liked them a lot.
Yeah.
I said it weird, but...
Yeah. I think for you too, because you're not like into reality TV or anything like that. So
I don't know who they are.
Right. And you never know like what you're going to get sometimes when you talk to people from reality TV, and you're like, oh, is this going to be like a forced conversation or is it whatever? But it was just the conversation flowed. Like they're a type of couple I could see us like getting drinks with, like they're just super down to earth. Yeah. You wouldn't picture them as like TV people really.
No, they were really nice. And then we talked about, what did we talk about? Traveling and as a couple and what it's like. And
her birth plan. She's pregnant. She's due next month. So she was asking some advice, and then they were telling us kind of their train of thought and even some of the complications isn't the word I'm trying to think of, just obstacles that they're facing because they live in such a tiny town in the middle of nowhere that they might not have access to everything that they want as far as birth plan goes.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people. Even the people who were in our virtual birth class, there was a couple that were in a similar situation where they had to travel quite a bit of distance to go to the hospital that allowed them to birth the way they wanted to. And they weren't even asking for...
like a crazy birth.
They were like, we just want to be able to have an opinion. They didn't want like a water birth like you did or any, anything of a stretch of imagination. So it's just different for me to think that that's a situation a lot of people are in because we're in a big city and,
Well, I mean, even if you go back to, which I don't remember if I say it on this podcast or not, but I've said it on this podcast before, how I just went to your family gynecologist and I was asking questions. This was before we got married, before we were ready to have kids, but I'm like, I need to know if this is where I'm going to go when I get pregnant. And so I asked, hey, do you allow people to birth in different positions? And he just said, no, on your back. And I'm like, people still do that? Like, doctors still force women to
I would probably
birth
say
on their
most.
back? Like, this is your birth.
Right.
And your body's telling you to do something, but I'm not going to let you do that. I'm going to force you to go on your back.
Well, what's nice is we're able to have options. Like that isn't the only doctor in our area.
Right. But like you were saying, there's a lot of people who don't, or their insurance isn't going to cover a different option. It's just like such a messed up system, which we talk about that actually on the Coco Caliente podcast, just some of the other obstacles that birthing people face.
And it's nice too having podcasts like yours and other ones that are out there that teach you what your options are, even in the face of adversity or a doctor who might not agree. But ultimately it is, you do have a voice.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, Hutch just sneezed or something. He's being a wild man. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, traveling to give birth, I know we've talked about when we have another kid, we definitely want more kids, we're going to be driving 30 to 40 minutes. If there's heavy traffic, maybe even more to give birth, and that makes you uncomfortable a little bit.
Yeah, it sure does.
Babe, my last birth was like 1,000,000 hours long, and I know second births can sometimes go really quickly, but I think we would have plenty of time to get there.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we clean out the van, make it nice. That way we could drive that to wherever we're giving birth. And then if we need to, I'll deliver the baby in the back.
Right. So we have this van. What kind of van is it?
It's a 1998 Ford Ecoline 150, and it smells like old cigarettes and
smells like a Vegas nightclub at 3 a.m.
Gross.
So yeah, it's an awesome van though. It just smells really bad. But it's like white. It has paneling down the side. It'd be really cool to like redo. We just don't know if we actually want to put money into it because there's some mechanical issues too. But I can't ride in it because the smell of the smoke in there is just overpowering. But if we stripped everything out and cleaned it, we could drive that.
Yeah, you watch like those YouTube videos or the Instagram videos where people just turn a van into a travel van in like 30 seconds. You're like, oh, that seems easy.
Right. Nah.
And it's never that easy.
We just have 1,000,000 other projects going on right now. Like we're trying to finish our land. We don't even have grass in half of our yard.
Soon.
So,
this month.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Exciting.
Yeah, that'll be fun to finally finish our landscaping on the outside. And then we just have a few projects inside. I feel like it's always something. Like this last week, we had to have the AC guy come and the plumber come. It's like just things always happen like all at once.
Yeah, I don't know who decided that owning a home was the American dream.
Right.
Because it is a lot of cost.
Yeah, we just got to rent.
But I love it. No. I mean, I'm nothing against renting, but...
Yeah, because you can just be like, hey,
come fix this leak.
There's an issue here.
I flushed 3 apples down the toilet. Can you please fix it for me?
It's not my problem. Yeah, so everything always happens all at once. And of course, like, we're spending money on the landscaping, and then it's like, oh, now we have to pay the plumber and the AC guy, and who else knows what'll come up.
Yeah. But then once it's all done, it'll just be the maintenance cost. And, when you buy a fixer-upper, it's a chore.
It is, and it's always more than what you think you're going to put into it.
Yeah.
Like, you estimate this cost, but then it's like, oh, the AC went out because it's 20 years old.
Yeah, that's like when you go to buy anything and you're like, yeah, but for this much more, I can get this much more. And then you spend triple what you were planning on spending.
Right. Yeah. So it's
That's
fun
why
though.
I don't go to Costco. We'd be broke.
We probably would. I mean, I spend enough there.
That place it's hypnotizing.
See, and I don't go down the aisles that you would. I just go grocery shopping there. You would go check out like every appliance and different things. And you'd be like, it's Costco. So if it breaks, you just take it back.
Yeah, I went to Ace the other day to pick up like a hose nozzle. And I almost came back with like a $300 wagon.
I know. He was texting me about it. I'm like,
I was like,
yeah,
babe,
that's
we need
cool.
this wagon, right? We need it? Don't we need it? Look at it, though. It's really cool.
It was really cool. We could do without it for now.
I know. And then I went to go to Dick's to buy a new hat. And I almost bought new shoes and an Adidas outfit. And I didn't.
I'm proud of you,
bought
babe.
a hat. Thank you. I had the guy go get me shoes. I tried them on. I had the box. And I was walking, and I just put the box down.
Babe, but your shoes have holes in them, so you actually need new shoes.
I get it, but I wear my shoes until the soles fall off.
Yeah. I think we both do. My shoes almost have holes. That's
how I knew I loved you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm still wearing my tennis shoes from the marathon, and they're like wearing real thin.
Only awesome people wear marathon shoes.
Yeah, they're like old lady. They're not even, like, can't even remember the brand. It's...
Because marathon shoes are specifically designed to run marathons.
Right, yeah, it's not like a brand that you know.
You shouldn't be walking around in them.
Right, but I don't have other, like, tennis shoes.
As long as you get rid of those nasty boot things.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I don't know, maybe. I thought you were going to say the sweatpants.
Those sweatpants need to go. I was just going to say the next thing to go
we
is
have
the
matching sweatpants. You love matching
I know,
stuff.
and you know what? I just woke up from our honeymoon phase and realized they're terrible. So I got rid of mine.
No, you didn't.
I didn't?
We have them. I wear yours when I'm pregnant.
Oh. Okay. Well, I didn't get rid of mine, I guess.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, we have fun.
We are going to take a quick break. Life is stressful enough, and access to healthcare shouldn't be. Luckily, getting birth control is one less thing that you have to worry about. With the Pill Club, you'll never have to make a trip to the doctor or wait in line at the pharmacy ever again. They provide access to care from the comfort of your home and delivery to your door in discreet packaging. The Pill Club is a birth control subscription prescribed by a medical professional and delivered straight to your door for free. The Pill Club carries over 120 FDA-approved brands. Most brands of birth control are free with insurance or Medicaid. Otherwise, prices start as low as $9 per month without insurance. The Pill Club delivers birth control to your door for free in discreet packaging. What's more is their licensed medical team is just a text away to give you the best reproductive health care. Right now, when you go to thepillclub.com/mamas, the Pill Club is offering a $10 donation to bedsider.org for every Miraculous Mamas listener who becomes a patient. Your donation will help low-income individuals get access to birth control through bedsider.org. That's thepillclub.com/mamas to get your first birth control care package and donate to help more women in need of affordable birth control. Remember, thepillclub.com/mamas. You must use the link to make a donation. Now, back to the episode.
It's fun talking to these guys just because they're at a similar place in life as us too. They're, we just had Jovi 9 months ago. They're having a baby next month, and similar love story and all of that, minus the...
It's a feel-good episode.
Yeah. It's fun talking with them, and it's fun to do these episodes too where you just get to see how other people are handling situations, because I know I'm very much a planner when it comes to birth.
Oh, sure.
I said planner, and Vito's rolling his eyes like, what?
I don't know what else you plan aside from when it comes to birth. Yeah, you're very laid out.
And you guys will hear like Nicole's like a little bit more relaxed. And so it's just like fun hearing how other people are preparing and what's going through their minds, what they're excited for and looking forward to in this next chapter of life. So we're going to dive into the interview. Hey, everyone. We have Nicole Franzel here and Victor Arroyo III. And we're so excited to talk to them. You may know them from TV or from their awesome podcast. But we're so excited to have them here. They're expecting their first child. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
So
we don't do a lot of podcasts these days. I feel like we kind of just like, we're really picky because we do our own podcast. And then I don't really love to be interviewed. I get nervous. So we'll see how this goes.
Do you feel more comfortable since Victor's on it with you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would not do one by myself.
Anytime she does, she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how this is going to go. I wish you could just do it with me.
He's like my blanket where he'll talk. I'll like look at him and be like, hey, go ahead. And but it's so weird because I've been on TV 4 times and you would think that I'd be comfortable with that, but I'm not.
Right. You would think that. I feel the same way with him though. Like he's a much better interviewer, I feel like, than I am. So I'm always like, man, I wish that you could just come into my body and ask the questions for me and so that I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I tell Victor he's like the main host and I'm just like the backup in case. Sometimes I don't speak at all, to be honest with you. Like he'll have such intellectual conversations with these doctors or whatever. And I'm just sitting there and I just take it all in. You know, I'm more of like, today with you, I was able to talk and ask questions because it's something I'm interested in. But Victor has, everything's over my head sometimes. And so I'm just like, do your thing and I'll just listen.
So let's rewind a little bit to you guys were friends first before you decided to take the next step. And I know that can be really hard for a lot of people. How did you know that you wanted it to be more than just a friendship?
What are you looking at me like?
I think that the moment that he pretty much met me, I knew that he was like in love with me. I really did. And like it became on this season, it kind of became like a running joke because I was like, I swear, like he has a crush on me, and he would deny it. Like, no. And then when we got off the show, we stayed friends for a year. He would call me all the time, FaceTime me. It was really cute, really persistent, just as friends. He'd ask for relationship advice. I really cared about him. I knew he had like a huge heart. I just was so afraid. He had this long hair and like he was just like really good looking. I was like, this guy's trouble. Like, I'm not going to fall in love with him because he's probably going to break my heart. So right when I saw him, I was just like, you're not going to go there.
Once upon a time. Not anymore. No, I guess in a perfect world, people would be friends before, but also it's a catch-22 because if you really like that person, you don't really want to be friends. You know what I mean? Like, because you just want to be with that person. So, but no, I had a little crush on Nicole. But I knew that she wasn't in a spot to be in a relationship with me. And I knew she didn't want that with me, at least at that time. And in hindsight, it was probably the best thing, right? Because we were both off the show. This is my first time being off a show, and I was just kind of doing my own thing. And so I think the timing of everything worked out perfect. And the fact that we were friends for such a long time, especially living in two different areas. I was in Louisiana, she's in Michigan. It kind of just worked out exactly how it had to work out for us to be here today.
Yeah, we wouldn't have, if we dated like right away upon meeting, there's no way it would have.
I don't think it would have worked out.
It wouldn't have worked out because just like coming off of a show for him, it was his first time, like he said, and there's just so much stimulation, so many like even girls just like, oh my God, Victor, and I think it would have been really hard to just kind of date when you're going through that. And so he had to come full circle and be like, okay, yeah, I'm over that. And now he's still pursuing me. And I'm like, all right, we'll give it a try.
Well, it worked out.
Did you guys ever travel together before?
Before dating?
Before, yeah. Or even like while in the beginning of dating. I always say that a couple should have like one good argument and they should road trip or something together because that's when you really see each other,
Like before Amazing Race.
Yeah. I'm not sure that we did.
We went to California a couple times.
Well, yeah, I guess
but we were still in the honeymoon phase at that point.
Like you're living apart from each other. So we met in New York. That's how we kind of had our first, like moment that we're going to start dating. And then we would meet, right? But we never stayed in the same place together. So it was always like the first time exciting again. You know what I mean? So, but no, until he
moved into my parents' basement in Michigan, and then it got real.
Yeah, and then we did the Amazing Race, and then that was a real tell-all of how. Yeah, so yeah.
So then, yeah, you hit the criteria. I'm sure. How was it living in her parents' basement?
Looking back now, it's funny. It's funny to think about it, but at the time, I mean, it wasn't too bad. The only thing is in this area, there's no like corporate jobs. Like corporate America doesn't really exist up here. It's more of like the laborers, right? Electricians, farmers.
Workforce.
It's workforce, right? And so I came from, a degree in finance. I was an operations manager, and then I was a credit manager as well. So coming up here,
even a personal trainer, which there's really not that around.
Yeah, and so I was like, man, what? So I was, for a while at the beginning, I didn't have a job, so I'm just in their basement. I feel worthless, right? And then I'm bartending, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be bartending, but I needed a job. And then I started working in logistics, which was better, but just an office job that I didn't like. So, but all in all, it all worked out. right? Like to where we are now. And so that process needed to happen, but it got us closer to our family. It brought us closer, and our relationship wouldn't have worked if I would have stayed in Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm so close with my parents. They were so cool with him, like staying. And my parents are all about stay with us, save your money. Don't go rent something, which there's really nowhere to rent around here, if I'm being completely honest with you. So they're just like, stay with us, save your money. And then that's when we bought our house right before Amazing Race, I think.
Yeah, we left while your dad and some other people were remodeling it. Yeah,
so it was good timing for sure. We needed to kind of just like stay there and make sure things were going to work before we bought a house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so funny. We dated long distance, so we kind of had that every time you see each other is amazing. And then I moved to Chicago and I stayed with his parents. So I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. And then when we were saving up for the wedding, I lived with them again and like saved our money and all of that. So I definitely relate. And you learn about their families very quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Him and my dad are like best friends, so it's cute.
Oh, that is nice. That's so nice.
All right. So ever since I was a kid, I've always loved playing games. Any type of card game, board game, game night for me is where it's at. But as we get older, sometimes we don't play games as often as we did when we were kids. And I was missing that piece in my life. And I decided to download Best Fiends, which is an amazing puzzle-solving game that I play now every single day. With Best Fiends, you solve tons of fun puzzles with just the right amount of challenge and strategy involved, and it's way more fun than smashing candy over and over. In fact, it's almost too much fun because I can't stop playing. Best Fiends has something new to play every single day, and it's endless fun. They have, you can collect characters, you beat different levels, you have different challenges. You can even have a little friendly competition with your Facebook friends, which is something I love to do because I'm very competitive. So right now, download the 5-star rated puzzle game, Best Fiends, free today on the Apple Store or Google Play. That's Friends without the R, Best Fiends.
What was the Amazing Race experience for you guys?
So go ahead, because it's different for both of us, kind of. It was awesome, but
I loved it. It's right up my alley. That's in the wheelhouse of things that I like. Thing is though, people say, you get to see so many countries and experience so many things. That's true to a degree, but you're so focused on getting past that next competition and not getting kicked out to be able to go all the way through that everything's kind of a blur. Right? Like, I don't think we really appreciated all the places that we went to until we saw the show on TV. Right. And because it's already done. We're not, every day that you're on that show, it feels like life or death. Right. Yeah. Like if we don't get to this next thing, it's over. Right. We're done. We don't have a chance anymore. So it's a lot of like high stress, high anxiety. And then for Nicole, that's the exact opposite what she wants. For me, I'm like competition. It's game time. Like, let's go.
I do love competition. I just didn't like, you never felt safe. Like when I was at least playing Big Brother, I could be safe for a whole week. And I'm like, I'm good. For Amazing Race, every single day you were fighting for your life. And it was just a lot. Like you couldn't get real rest. We lost a lot of weight.
I lost 15 pounds, I think.
And it was only 28 days. And it's just like,
wow.
I don't know what that did to me, but it did something, I'm sure. Because when I got off of it, I think I was always fight or flight mode. It was really hard to come back to just like normal life. A lot worse than Big Brother for me. Because I'm like, oh my God, where are we going? What are we doing? And there was a lot of close calls that we had, and we were really good at it too. And that's like the hardest part is I think if Victor had a different partner, he would have won.
No.
For sure. But I'm sorry, but I'm sorry I held you back.
No,
he would have won $1 million for sure.
No, we did good. I mean, there was a point that, and they kind of showed it on the show, but it really didn't give it a true representation of how that moment was. But So, for example, when you're traveling to these places and you got to fly somewhere, you're not just buying a ticket for Nicole and I. I have to make sure there's 4 tickets, right? One for me, one for her, one for our sound guy, and one for our camera guy, right? So when you're trying to find these flights and get on this plane, you know, they might only have 2 tickets, right? And so,
I'm like, well, what the heck? 1, 2, like, we can go. Like, let us go. And they're like, no, you can't go.
So we were in the Netherlands trying to go to Croatia, and the guy, the attendant at the window, he was frustrated because there was cameras there. He didn't want to be recorded. So everybody went to this other airline, and we didn't get a ticket. Everybody else got a ticket, and we were stuck. And so
you can only buy 1 ticket. Like, you used to be able to buy as many as you wanted. And now it's like once you buy 1 plane ticket, like that's it. You can't switch, go back. Even if you have an original flight that they gave you, you can't use that one anymore. So the next day it was one of those, we either buy this ticket and fly standby and might not go at all because if the flight's full, you don't go, or get the latest flight and be guaranteed to get there last, pretty much. And so you're out of the game. And then so if we didn't make that flight, we would have been stuck. And where were we?
We would have been out.
We would have been out and stuck. Like a big producer stayed with us because he thought we were going to be stuck.
Yeah.
And we freaking got we could have got first that leg. We got second, but the person who got first, we were like this close to each other, like right next to each other. But they had like this power and they're like, if you take first, we're going to use this on you. And we're like, okay, have first, we'll take second. So it all worked out.
Like nights like that, you know, you leave, you don't know what's going to happen the next day. You don't know because we hadn't gotten any flight yet. And
I was mad at
tension between us.
Oh yeah, I was mad at him for like buying pizza. Like we barely have any money, and he's like, "I need to eat." I mean, what did we do, Victor? It was so like sad because I bought him like a McDonald's sandwich once, and he was the only one that could eat a McDonald's sandwich because we didn't have enough money to like both eat.
I guess let me explain that a little bit. They give you some money at the beginning of the leg of a race, right? Let's say there's $30 here for you for this leg of the race, right? With that, you have to buy a taxi cab, or if there's a competition where you have to buy something for that competition, there's just enough money for that, okay? There may be money in there for food for you guys, but if we mess up, for example, if a taxi cab takes us to the place that we're not supposed to go and now we have to pay the other fare the other way, like we might not have enough money. So you try not to spend your money unless you absolutely have to. Mm-hmm. So you try to wait for maybe like an airplane. We got to take a plane today? Perfect. I can eat on the plane because they're going to provide a food, right? So, or you eat before you leave the hotel. You try to do all these things or take snacks off the snack counter and throw them in your bag, but you don't want to have too much because then your bag gets heavy and then you have to run with that bag all the time. So in this instance, we have like little to no money, but I'm starving. We both are. And we're like scraping pennies together to buy a burger, you know, from like McDonald's.
Which is like $5 freaking
in the airport, you know? So just things like that you don't think about, but like really take a toll on you. And that's, you know, that's your everyday.
I mean, it was overall very, very fun. Just, he would love to do it again. I just don't know if I could ever handle doing it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get hangry, so I don't know how I would handle that very well.
Yeah, and what's weird is like I thought I'd have to like stop and go to the bathroom a lot because you're like racing for what 12, 18 hours
or more,
and your body just knows. It knows like.
Now's
okay,
not the
don't
time.
be hungry. Don't go to the bathroom. Don't do because I was so worried about that too. Because I get really like crabby when I'm hungry. But your just body knows it's like just shut up and run.
And the crazy thing is you're so tired that even let's say after doing an 18-hour or more leg of a race, you get to the mat. Phil says, you know, you made it to the next round, and you still have to do exit interviews, and they have a little snack table, and you might eat some snacks, and then you go to the hotel, and they say, all right. You got to be ready in 18 hours or it could be 10 hours or whatever. But you're so dead that you might order food off like the room service menu, right? But then you pass out, right? And they're knocking on the door to wake you up and you're like eating half asleep to then just go right back to sleep. And you might have 24 hours to sleep and you might sleep 18, 19 of those hours because you're so exhausted.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That sounds fun.
Vito's like, yes.
Yeah, I love that.
It actually would be fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun to go on the Amazing Race.
It would be good for the relationship.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
would be really good for the relationship.
Well, we're already in it. Like, we're married, so it's like, it would still be
That's
good,
it,
but
yeah.
you're stuck.
But I think what I tell people is it's worse for you on TV if you're comfortable with your partner, because you don't care about talking shit to this person. Like, we're in it. We live life together. Hurry the fuck up. What are you doing?
I'm like yelling at him and stuff. But if I was with like a friend or someone that they just randomly put me with, I'd be like, oh, it's okay. Like, let's take our time.
Yeah, like let's figure it out. Not so much like, what are you doing? I told you we should have went that way. Like
Yeah.
You guys would be great too, he's saying.
Yeah.
Couples in general make really good TV.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be so much fun. Well, so now you guys, you're expecting your first kid, which is so exciting. How are you feeling about everything?
I'm really excited. So he's going to be here within 9 weeks, and we have a lot to do still, but, I couldn't be more excited, and I feel like it's flown by, and I'm very nervous when I really think about it. Like, oh my God, like I'm nervous for not to have him to birth him. Like, I'm really scared about that. I just feel like it's something I've been afraid of my whole life, because I just don't understand how he can fit through there and everything's going. And I'm also pretty small as far as like my feet are size 5.5. So I learned in nursing school, if you have small feet, you have small bones. And so my hips might not open up enough. And I'm just like already paranoid about all that. So
I watched it happen, and I don't understand how it works.
Yeah, it's just
But it's truly a miracle, like how it all happens, and you'll be fine. You'll do great.
Mm-hmm. We have a super funny photo of him that our doula captured, because he's like kind of like staying by my head, but like he's like peeking, and then he thought that the head came out. But then with the next...
Because you, like, see the head. Like, I saw hair and stuff, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then she pushed one more time, and then, like, 90% of her head came out. So I was only seeing, like, the tip of the iceberg. And in my head, I'm like, this is a small head, right? And then the rest of her head came out, and then your mind just, like... you're in a whole different universe. You're like, what just happened? How was that in there? And then the body comes out, and you're like, "Whoa!" you can't understand it.
But when the rest of the head came out, he literally like looked up, like, whoo, like the look on his face that is captured in this photo is hilarious, because he like looked at the nurses like, "Is this okay? Is that what's supposed to happen? Like, what just happened?"
Yeah, it was shocking.
Yeah,
it was very shocking.
But it's like perfectly captured of his face of like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's wild.
But yeah, it's everybody's bodies are built so different, but everything's going to work out. Have you looked at like doing a birth plan or anything like that so far, or just kind of like go with the flow?
I've been really go with the flow, which is not normally my style. I am going to sign Vic and I up for hypnobirthing.
Mm-hmm.
My chiropractor recommended that. She said that it was really good for her. And so it's online. So I'm going to sign us up for that to try to keep calm during it all. And after talking to you, I really would like to look into a doula. Because I think that Vic's not going to know what the heck's going on. I'm not going to know what the heck's going on. So I need someone there that knows what's going on. And as far as the hospital and stuff, it is a tiny hospital around here. So there's no NICU or anything like that, which also makes me kind of nervous. And so I need to really talk to my doctor about that. He's very chill. And so if there's nothing that warns him that I would need a NICU, but that stuff, you can't really be warned sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to go to a bigger hospital to be safer.
The hospital that would have a NICU and a trauma center, all that would be like an hour and a half away from the hospital that we'd be at.
Right.
So
even like if they had to take my baby quick, it's still a long ride.
Well, and it'd be a helicopter ride. It wouldn't even be
well, if it's not windy that day, like you don't freaking know. Sometimes they don't fly. So that's what's causing me the most anxiety is obviously all the things I can't control. And a lot of people have babies up here and they're perfectly fine. It's just, I am a nurse, but I'm not practicing anymore. And so I've just seen so much crap and it kind of hurts you instead of helps you. I'd rather be naive and be like, oh yeah, everything's going to be fine. But
not
it's
have
like,
the worries. Yeah.
You've just seen too much.
Well, you were also an ER nurse, so you were seeing the worst, like the worst case situations, like coming into the emergency room. So I can definitely see how that would kind of.
And it was, and I worked in a small hospital, and so it was stabilize and ship. We couldn't do a lot of things that we needed to do. And so it's frustrating. Like we didn't have we didn't even have an ICU. Like we just had to stabilize and ship and hope they could make the car ride.
That's what's crazy. So I came from living in the city, right, in Louisiana and stuff. And now I'm a state trooper over here. And pretty much anytime there's a serious incident, like a crash or fight or something where somebody's seriously injured, I mean, before you even go over there, they're trying to see if they can get the helicopter up in case that, they need a helicopter, and they can always cancel it. But never in my life before was that ever a thing, right? Because there was always a hospital nearby that could do that stuff. So that's something now it's like, it might be windy today. It could suck for somebody because they're going to have a long ride to the trauma center.
So that's where a birth plan, I guess, what really is a birth plan? Do you talk about like your medications if you're wanting medication or your positioning or your hospital? Is it all of that or?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So basically, and I'll send you a sample one. You just put in there. Well, first, it's going to share with you all your options. So researching a birth plan, you're going to be like, oh, do I want to do delayed cord clamping? Do I want to do an epidural? What if we get induced? What are my options there? What are the options if we do have to have a cesarean? So you kind of go through and research all of it and figure out the pros and the cons and make the best informed decision for you guys. Because when it comes down to it, I always tell people there's not a right or a wrong. There's no this way of birth is better than that way of birth. It's figuring out what's best for you and just making sure that your provider and support team are supportive of that.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a lot of options. And
I don't know any of them.
And I just don't want to be panicking like during it and all that is so.
Well, taking the hypnobirthing class, so one of my biggest things of advice to people having a baby is to take a childbirth education class. And hypnobirthing is one of those. There's a lot of different types of classes, and hypnobirthing is one form. And you're going to learn so much. They're going to talk to you about each stage of labor, what's going to happen. They're even going to give you, Victor, some comfort measures to do to her. They'll be like, hey, if you do apply pressure here, this will help relieve pain during contractions. They're going to give you tools to use and talk about a lot of those options in the birth plan. So just by taking that course, you're going to feel so much better and more equipped going into it.
Well, and I've been trained how to deliver a baby. So you should feel a whole lot better.
Oh, yeah, being trained and actually delivering, even that CPR, being trained and doing is too totally different.
The mannequin for it had like legs and a baby coming out of the uterus, and all that stuff. So, I mean, it was pretty legit.
Some hospitals will let you actually help deliver the baby.
What?
Yeah,
no,
if you ask, yeah. I ask.
The baby's very slippery. I think it's
true.
We could get a watermelon how Dwight did it on The Office.
Exactly.
Yeah, I asked if I could deliver our baby, and they were like, yeah, you can be here. And then when the time came, I was like, wait, no, like you guys do that. I'll do the next one. So.
Yeah, he wimped out.
Yeah, I did. Are you kidding me?
So how are you feeling, Victor? Are you like nervous at all?
No, I'm excited. I've been wanting to have a baby with Nicole for a while now, No, yeah, it's great. I think this is the perfect time for us. I think if there's ever a time to be ready, it's now, and to start having all our kids that we're gonna have. So I'm honestly, I'm not nervous at all. I think this is, and to think that kids, have unexpected babies when they're like 17 and 18, like that would freak me out.
Mm-hmm.
But like we're married, like we both have stable jobs, like the situation couldn't have been more perfect,
Yeah.
So I'm happy, and I think we've been ready for a while now.
Yeah. If you think you love her now, after she gives birth to your baby, it's like a whole nother level, man.
Good.
The way you look at her changes completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wild shift. I mean, the world you knew now just doesn't exist. And this new world is like, it's awesome.
That's cool.
That's
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that already, kind of where now that I'm carrying a baby, like it's just all about him, and everything else that used to, frazzle me doesn't matter anymore. Like all those weird things that, like people's opinions and this and that. It's like, okay, I got a baby on the way and I'm focused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that love goes both ways. Like once you see him become a dad, it's just like, yeah, what you think you love each other now. And then you're like, oh my gosh, then look what we created together. Like this is so wild. It's such a trip.
It really is. Yeah. That's a good word to use.
I always say trip.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping that I know I'm going to be so obsessed with my baby that I'm hoping I can still find time for Victor the third. But I will. He gets paternity leave, which I'm really excited about.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So he can help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like, so one thing that I think that we've realized too, because before you have a baby, I feel like it's really easy to say like, oh, we're not going to be this couple. We're not going to do that. And we're like, our world's not going to revolve around our kid. Our marriage is first. And when you have a kid, you're like, oh, wait, like this kid is taking all of my time and energy and everything. And you do become obsessed with them. You love them so much. Like every single day we look at our daughter and we're like, oh, like we're just so in love with her. She's so amazing.
It's insane.
But prioritizing your marriage still is important. Like that's why, well, we've been slacking on the podcast lately, but like when we do the long haul podcasts and stuff like that, like it forces us to sit down and record. So the fact that you guys have yours, it's like nice that you guys can still take that time to like, obviously take off as much time as you need, like after having the baby. Yeah. But then when you're ready to get back to it, like forcing you to sit down and have conversations. And then it's nice once they do kind of get into a little bit of a routine, like she goes to bed around 7:30 and then we have a couple hours of just us time and hanging out. And sometimes it's like, we're going to sit here and watch TV and do nothing because we're both exhausted. And, like last night we went out and he made a fire outside and we went out and sat by the fire and hung out and it was just nice. And you do have to like make those moments, but I see now where it's hard, like where moms are like, oh, like I just, I have to do this. And then it's hard, but just keeping that open communication is so important. And it seems like you guys have such a solid foundation.
Yeah, we do like to make each other laugh and stuff. But we had someone on our podcast that was like, I think the best advice she gave was, remember you're on the same team. Mm-hmm. Like you're not like who has it worse. Cause she said her and her husband were like, well, I've done all this. And he's like, well, I had to do this and it's your turn. No, it's my turn. Just remember you're on the same team. And so I think when we get frustrated with diaper changes or feedings or whatever, being tired, we just got to realize that we're on the same team. And, we've been through some crap. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's really good advice.
That's always the advice. Whenever we fight, I'm like, hey, we're on the same team here. Like we both want what's best. We both want an easier life. Like there's no one's trying to put anybody down here. So that's great advice.
Yeah.
And so when are you guys like the time range? When are you expecting?
So the due date is July 28th.
Okay.
Every time I measure, he's just like one day ahead a little bit. Victor was a 9 pound baby, 9.5 pound baby. I don't know. So right now he's projected to be 7.5 pounds.
Oh, wow. Nice.
That can change. But yeah, so anywhere from, I'm hoping I don't go over 40 weeks, but that would be 40 weeks is the end of July.
Nice. Right at the end of July on top of me.
Right.
So you were saying, can we talk about this on this podcast?
Yeah, we can.
So Liz and I did something, was it last year or the year before?
It was almost 2 years ago.
We just did 1 month, regardless if you want to or not, you have sex.
Every day.
Every day, yeah. And it was something that seems like, when this was before we had a kid, and we were like, we can do this. But I work concrete, and there were days I got home at 8 o'clock at night from laboring all day. And it's like, listen, we made a commitment. We have to do this. And sometimes it was work, but like you were saying, for people who it's hard to make time for each other. What we learned through that month was that you can always make that effort.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. So this year we're doing July on top of me. So in July we'll do the same challenge, and like I said, it is work, but it is you feel very close, and then you do realize like, hey, I do have the energy even when I think I don't, and it is very connecting and bonding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, July's going to be intimate for me too, because every day I look on the calendar and be like, oh, they're doing it today.
That's true.
Now everyone knows.
But if you join the challenge, then you'll be doing it too. So
we're all doing it. We're all doing it. It's all great.
Well, there's like a science that goes behind it. There's like actual data that shows like 30 days of intimacy can just like really enhance your relationship.
Okay. I could totally see. Yeah. I can totally see how that would, because it's really easy to make an excuse and just like, I don't know. That's how especially being pregnant, it's just kind of like.
Yeah.
So now I feel like as soon as my 6 weeks after delivering, Victor's going to want to do this challenge, and I'll say okay, maybe.
I heard about this challenge.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is just kind of like that communication again, like even postpartum, like it's hard. It's so hard. But keeping that communication, and when you're meeting each other's needs, it's like so much easier. Like I learned very quickly, I get overwhelmed very easily. Like if the house is messy and I have to do something for the podcast and I have this doula thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, the world is collapsing. There's so much going on. And he's like much more organized. But I realized like after having the baby, when like I would normally make dinner, clean up, whatever. And after I had the baby, if like I went to put her to bed and he cleaned up dinner, it was like the sexiest thing to me. I was like, oh, like that gives me time then to like have time with you, because I'm not just stressed out about like, I have to clean the kitchen and I have to whatever. And then I'm tired. It's like, oh, now I can just sit and be with you. Like I don't have these other things to do. And that I feel like made it so much easier.
I learned that if I like wash the sheets, Victor finds that sexy. Fold laundry, or unload the dishwasher.
Well, not all at once.
But that is something that because I am a person where I do get overwhelmed, but I also am like, I can work in like chaos, and so I'll just throw things.
Yeah, like if she has to do like her social media stuff, she'll have all the 5 outfits, even though she wore one, but they'll all stay out. And
it drives him nuts. So I learned like, okay, if I want to make his day, I just have to clean.
Yeah. And then as long as I keep cleaning, she stays happy too, because I clean all the time too.
Yeah.
So it's a good give and take there.
For sure.
There's something about the vacuum marks on the carpet that's just like...
It does it for him.
Forget it.
and you emptied the vacuum?
Yeah. She still can't figure out how to take the
I do too. I do. Just sometimes
I have like the little handheld one. That's a miracle worker right there. But every time I look at it, I'm like, how do you think this thing is going to keep cleaning? At some point it's going to have to be emptied, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. Have you guys ever done the love language test before?
Love language. Oh yeah, Nicole. I
how we give and receive, or how we receive love. Mm-hmm. Is that what it is? A long time ago we did, I think it was on our podcast. I know that, gosh, what are they again? I know what we are.
There's like gifts. There's like
biggest physical touch.
Acts of service, quality time.
Quality time. I'm quality time is my number one, and his is physical touch. Isn't physical touch one?
Yes, yeah. Words of affirmation and physical touch. Yep.
Because we're supposed to have 2 each, right? Is that how it works?
It depends. You can like take a test and it will score you. But my top 2 used to be quality time and now it's more words of affirmation. Like I need him to tell me, like, and if he hasn't like told me, I'll be like, babe, how good was dinner tonight? Like, you need to tell me. But I think kind of knowing those things is important because one of his is acts of service. And sometimes that's hard for me to do. So I know like, yeah, if I want to make his day and he comes home and the house is clean, that's like the best way I could like make his day. And that hardly ever happens. I'm sorry, babe. I love you.
If there's nothing on the counters and I could see the whole counter, oh man.
Dude, I will tell you what. That's
you must be acts of service more than physical touch.
I mean, it could, I don't know. There's something like, there's been times where I tell Nicole, you know, maybe you go to your mom's house today. Maybe you just leave for a few hours today. And I will attack the house. Like, I go crazy on the house. She'll come back and like, whoa, what the heck happened here?
I will say there's a difference between like his cleaning and my cleaning. Like his cleaning is
mine is
like superficial cleaning, you know, not
mine is maintenance. I do a lot of maintenance.
He likes to like just put things and
just keep them tidy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the out of sight. Yeah,
but not like put away. So
Nicole does really good deep cleaning.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna clean something, it's going to be all perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All or nothing. So
yeah. No. Yeah. He might be acts of service.
Yeah, we'll have to take that test again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good one. So before we wrap up, what are you guys most looking forward to in becoming parents?
I tell Nicole a lot, so I exercise a lot so I could play a lot with little Victor, and I could be his, I don't know, I don't want to say like, I do want to be his friend, but I want to be his dad, but I want to be the one that kicks his ass in all sports until, you know, he's in his 20s or something, and like that's a proud moment for him, but I want to be able to play with him and do all those things with him, and oh yeah, let's go ride bikes and let's go toss football and let's go do that. Like doing those things, I'm super excited for.
And I think I've just waited my whole life to take care of a baby because I do that with my animals, with the stray cats outside. I have several. And it's kind of annoying to people that my family and Victor, that I put all this energy into animals. And they're like, I don't know if you're going to love the human as much as you can love these animals. But I think it's just like my maternal instincts are, well, these are my kids right now. And so I think I'm born to, just take care of someone. And that's kind of why I went into nursing as well, too, obviously. So I think just cuddle him, have no excuse. Like Vic, I can be like, hey, cuddling is what he needed. And just, I don't know. I honestly I waited my whole life for this. And so I'm really, really, really excited. And I hope that after we have him, he's healthy and everything's great. And then we can have another one pretty soon after. So he has a playmate.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's so exciting. And his name's going to be Victor the Fourth.
Victor Arroyo the Fourth. So
although yes, Victor Arroyo the Fourth, but we are going to have a nickname that sticks.
So Nicole, this is what happened. So Nicole knew that our firstborn son will be Victor Arroyo the Fourth. That was an agreement, right? And any child thereafter, she can name whatever she pleases. But when we were having a boy, she's like, okay, yeah, his name's going to be Victor, but I want to give him a name that'll be his nickname that'll stick, that everybody will call him that name, and nobody will call him Victor.
No, I don't want to call him Little Vic and Big Vic, okay? That's not something I want to do. And not to mention, like, it's cool, but there's his dad's Victor. He has a nephew, Victor. He has a niece, Victoria. He's Victor. It's a lot, okay? So I want to have him have his, like, own identity a little bit. And so his name on paper will be that, and you can call him whatever you want. But how my name's Nicole and, like, people called me Coco, I liked that, and that was, like, what stuck. And, you know, maybe he'll turn 5 and he'll be like, I want to be Victor, and we'll be like, okay.
Well, that's your legal name anyway. So.
that is your name.
So, anyways, yes, he does have, like, something else to go by, and we're excited about it, but, yeah. I want to name my kid.
You will, the next one.
It's hard. It's hard to not, like, have any say in naming your kid.
But think about, so I was being the third, and some people are like, I'm done. My son's not going to be, you know, Victor or whatever. But I always thought that was awesome, and I'm excited for it. So my nervousness came, it's like, what if I never have a boy, right? So to be the first one, it's like, oh, that's it? The firstborn, Victoria the Fourth? I don't got to worry about that anymore? I think that's awesome.
It is really cool, and it's nothing. It's just
we're thinking nicknames like Quattro. You know,
there you go.
That was what we first originally talked about, but that's
Nicole's keeping the nickname a secret for now. She has it in her head.
It's technically like his name, and I'm going to announce it. So.
Well, she's been buying. She's been buying stuff but she was buying stuff. She's like, look, I'm going to get this for the walls in the room, and this. And I was like, but none of them say Victor. She's like, well, yeah, I mean, we could get stuff that says that too. You know, she's just funny. She's funny.
Yeah. That's so fun, though. Well, we're super excited to follow along and see when you have your baby. It's like such a guessing game at the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say, like, for your first one, you usually go all the way. So I'm just going to prepare for that. And then if it's 38 weeks, I'll be really happy.
Yeah, right. I went to 41. I actually had her right at 41 weeks. So, and I thought I was going to be fine because I told myself I'd go to 42. But it really does become a head game. Like, once I hit that 40-week mark, I was like, it was a head game every single day until she came. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Like, when is she coming? And it was definitely that last week was kind of torture.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I don't want to go past 40 because I feel like that's what I'll be every day. I don't know, looking up what do I do to make her come fast or him come faster, and I don't know.
Yeah, well, July on top of me could help because that is one proven way to help have babies quicker.
What is?
Sex.
Oh. All right.
Darn.
I guess so.
Darn.
Yeah. So, but we're super excited to follow along, and just see how it all turns out and see what the nickname is.
Yeah.
I'm curious now.
Awesome. So tell everyone quick about your podcast, where they can listen to it, and where they can follow you on Instagram.
Yes. So the podcast is Coco Caliente Podcast. You can listen to that anywhere you listen to podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher. You can follow us at Coco Caliente Podcast on Instagram and at Coco Caliente Pod on Twitter. Yeah.
Awesome. And just tell everyone really quick what your podcast is about.
Honestly, it's just about life. We have experts on sometimes, like yourself. We've also had doctors on, authors, other reality TV people, but we've actually kind of been steering away from that a little bit. We more like to have people that are experts in the field of the things that they do.
Or we just have some couple episodes, too, that are lots of bickering and funny entertainment.
That are just us.
Those ones are my favorite to record.
Yeah, those are fun. So it's a little bit of everything. There's something there for everyone, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you'll do a birth story episode afterwards
So
yeah.
I'll be looking out for that one.
Victor will probably have a lot to say.
I'll probably pass out.
I actually had smelling salts. The midwife took it out because we were joking around, and then she broke it, so it started smelling, and she went to go throw it away, and I was like, you could pass that over here. I'll take that really quick.
Yeah,
Those are the
absolutely.
best. They're the best.
Yeah, it's fun. It's all good stuff. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks
Absolutely.
for having us.
Thanks for inviting us.
It's been fun.
All right. So they only live 7 hours from us?
No, it's less than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like 8 hours to Toronto, and they're still in America.
Oh, okay. True. Yeah, but they're you have to go this way.
No,
to Toronto,
I think
you
they're
go
like
that way.
5 hours away. It's worth the drive.
Yeah. We might have to get drinks with them sometime.
Well, she was asking if you could be her. She's like, how far do you travel
as a doula?
You're like, only about an hour.
I'm like, I don't think I'd make it there. Yeah, but I could totally virtually support her if she wants me to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if they're ever in Chicago, we'll have to grab drinks with them. I'm excited to hear how everything turns out. I always love talking to people when they're pregnant and then seeing how the birth goes, and just that newborn phase is so much. It's weird, looking back on that newborn phase now. I look at pictures of Jovi when she was just brand new, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss that. Just all snuggle. Right now, she's literally into everything. I had to take the electrical cords out of her hands so many times today. And she just face dives into whatever trouble she can find. But she's so much fun right now too. Just her personality's coming out. She's doing new stuff all the time, but those newborn snuggles, and it's so good. But then I remember how sleep deprived I was, and how your body's healing, and the emotional hormonal roller coaster of those first couple months.
I feel like maybe as the dad, I don't get those snuggles.
Yeah, you do.
I
she
don't.
was just so tiny.
No, she never snuggled me.
Yeah, she did. We have pictures, babe.
I'll have to see them because I don't remember.
In the NICU?
Yeah, when she was just born.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Brand new.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, they just... The best.
They
I have a
snuggle up
question,
to
though.
anyone.
Every woman I know always talks about the newborn baby smell. I don't smell anything.
Really?
Is this a female thing?
I will have to ask people because I can smell it.
Because every single one's like, oh my gosh, newborns, let me smell them.
Let me get a hit
Even
of
my
that.
sister was like, I have to smell Jovi. And I was like,
Yeah.
you guys are kind of weird.
No, it's a thing. The newborn smell, babe.
Yeah, I've heard.
It's good.
What does it smell like?
I don't even know how to describe it.
Like lavender?
No, definitely not.
Like vanilla?
No, I don't like the smell of vanilla.
Do you like vanilla cake?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a dessert, but all I think of is Bath and Body Works warm vanilla sugar spray, and it makes me think of strip clubs. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay. Well, that took a turn.
I'm just saying that's what the smell of vanilla perfumes make me think of.
That's hilarious.
So babies do not smell like that. I don't know how to describe it, but we should Google what. There might even be some sort of thing that they're releasing.
You should take a poll. I'm sure they're releasing some sort
to
of...
to help you bond,
right.
To create
but
that
is
bond.
it a female thing? Do men
Because you didn't
get
smell it.
No.
I
No.
did.
There's a puppy smell. I smell
Oh,
puppy.
I love puppy smell.
The puppy smell.
I love puppy breath.
Yeah, that's different.
That's the best.
That's very distinct. But the newborn baby thing I didn't get.
Well,
But you should take a poll on your Instagram or something and try to get people to describe what the newborn baby smell
yes,
is like.
I will.
Because I'm sure you'll get some
I
great
will.
responses.
I will for sure. Well, it was fun talking with them. I have some awesome episodes coming up. I have the episode with Corey Robertson from Duck Dynasty
Oh,
coming
that's cool.
up. But I already told you, babe, be prepared because
Because
I
what?
mean, after listening to her, the interview was awesome. But when I listen to the playback, I'm going to want to adopt all the babies again.
Let's do it.
Don't even play with my emotions right now.
Let's do it. Let's get them all.
I want to adopt all the babies. And I have James Barry from Pluck. We talk about organ meats and fertility. I have Leslie Hughes on sharing her birth story. She had a baby, and her whole pandemic experience is a little crazy because her baby daddy lives across the country, and it was pretty wild, and it was an emotional conversation talking with her as well. And I just love following her on Instagram as well. And yeah, we have some really great episodes coming up. So I'm excited for you guys to hear it. I still can't believe it's June.
It's my birthday month, and I haven't gotten one gift.
Babe, just wait. His birthday. So Vito turns 30 on Father's Day. How exciting is
whammy.
That? Yeah. And for all of you who do not know, I am older than Vito. I'm 34.
Wow.
You're still 29.
Cougar.
Robbing the cradle.
So, but I'm supposed to be getting a gift a day, I thought.
Babe, we never had this conversation.
Oh, okay.
I gave you a gift yesterday.
Okay.
I did. I started it off June 1st.
You did. You're right. Yep.
I'll think of something right now to give me. Let's see what's in the closet. See what I can wrap up quick.
Just wrap up an old T-shirt I haven't worn in a while.
That's what I've found for you.
I'll be really excited.
Yeah. Yeah. So happy birthday month to you. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
You got a couple weeks.
I know, but this is like your first official Father's Day. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I'm crushing it.
You are.
But probably I'm not.
You are. You're an amazing dad.
No, I'm not home enough.
But when you are, you're home quite a bit. And when you are, like, you're really good at being present.
Thank you.
And you're so helpful with Jovi.
She's just so cute. It's hard to be distracted.
Right.
I don't know how you look into a baby's eyes and then, like, your phone steals your attention.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She steals my soul.
Yeah, she's the best. And yeah, you're awesome at it. I never feel like I'll ask you, I'll be like, hey babe, can you grab her? But I never feel like, babe, like, come on. You know what I mean?
Right.
I never really feel like that way. Because you're so helpful. So thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
And the only reason you're not home all the time is because you're working hard to provide for us.
Yes, she works hard for the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right, I love you, babe.
Love you.
Love you guys, and can't wait for you to hear the rest of the awesome episodes that are happening this month. If you're listening, do not forget to rate and subscribe and follow us on the Miraculous Mamas Instagram. As I told the last couple weeks, just letting you guys know, a heads up, we're going to be doing some rebranding. So making sure that you are subscribed and following along is so important so that you don't miss out on any episodes and awesome content that we will be coming out with. All right. I hope you have a great week. Bye.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing while you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture. And then we cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy podcast on your podcast app.